to an energetic, jacked-up crowd here in Pennsylvania. They love you here in this great state. But first, let's talk about last night. You were in Iowa for the GOP Lincoln dinner. I didn't think it was possible for you to rattle off. Have a few minutes with the president here in Erie, Pennsylvania. And before you step out to an energetic, jacked up crowd here in Pennsylvania, they love you here in this great state. But first, let's talk about last night. You were in Iowa for the GOP Lincoln dinner. I didn't think it was possible for you to rattle off so many accomplishments in under 10 minutes.
I really worked at it. That was not easy. You're right. We had, I had to speak fast, and we had a fantastic evening. It was a beautiful evening. We really dominated the evening, I will say, and you see the polls that are coming out. We've never had polls like this, so strong, and we love the people, and they like us.
I think you broke a record on handshakes as well in your hospitality. We saw that, and you by far had the most people.
That hand is still feeling it, but we had, I think we probably shook over 1,000 hands or something like that, and other people were not too well received.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, let's talk about these poll numbers. Now, in the primary, he's got a 50-point-plus lead on anyone in the primary. And if you look at the head-to-head to Biden in some of these early states, you've got a lead on that as well. Thoughts on the polls?
Well, the polls have been great. It started off before I announced. We didn't know exactly, and nobody really knew. You never know about those things. But we thought we were very popular. We had a great 4 years, one of the best 4 years of any president. And it turned out that the people acknowledged that, and they want that, and it's been really amazing. And then you have the witch hunts that go on. As Democrat witch hunts are always cheating on elections, and that actually boosted us because the Republicans see exactly, they understand it, they get it better than anybody, frankly. So it's been great. We're leading by 40 and 50 points, and we're leading Biden in most polls by quite a bit.
Which is the general population as far as the general polls goes. That is the most important thing is about taking back this White House. Let's talk about the economy. I talked to a lot of seniors, Mr. President. This is not the country they grew up in for several reasons, culturally speaking, the way society is. But let's talk about Bidenomics, because that is crushing seniors that are on a fixed income. Their pensions, their retirement funds, for whatever reasons, is not making ends meet. What can we do economically to turn this country around?
Well, I think Bidenomics, more than anything else, is showing inflation. And inflation is a killer. It's killed countries for hundreds of years. You look back at Germany many years ago and plenty of other countries, they almost ceased to exist because of inflation. Inflation is absolute cancer, and we have inflation, and I don't think it's showing it even as bad as it is, believe it or not. And the only way they're going to kill it is to kill the economy, and they're trying to kill the economy, and what they have is the remnants of Trump. We created something so strong with the tax cuts and all the other things we did, and they say it's just sort of running on the fumes of what we did. But now the economy is starting to go bad, and very bad thing, but the inflation is really a disaster for seniors and frankly, for everybody.
Yeah. One final question. As we walk around, we talk to everyone, all your supporters, and there's thousands of them out there. How do you do this with all the legal stuff that's on your mind? You're still the most optimistic person that I know, and how do you stay so strong through these tough times?
So it's the most often question. People say, how do you do this? We have these thugs. I mean, they're thugs. And they go and they wait. You know, it's why didn't they do this 2.5 years ago? You know, this is 2.5 years ago stuff. This had to do with things that they were talking about January 6th years ago. And they wait till the election and they do it, they file it. And they do that just as really election, if you look, it's misinformation, typical misinformation, but it's election interference. And they are dirty players. They cheated on the other election, on the 2020 election. We got the most votes in the history of our country for a sitting president, and we lost. Supposedly, we did much better the second time than the first time. If we got the first time numbers, there was no way we could lose. But we lost. It was a rigged election, a disgrace. And now what we're doing is the numbers are better now. I mean, everything that we see is better now than it ever was. The enthusiasm is better now than it was 2 years ago and 3 years ago and frankly 7 years ago. We've never had anything like it. You even see it coming in from the plane where the people are on the streets and they're waving flags and waving everything. But it's a terrible thing that these are thugs. The DOJ, the FBI, what they're doing, is so bad for our country, so bad for America. I'm talking at the top levels, and so bad for America, because I know so many people in the FBI, such fine people, they hate what's happened to the FBI, and people hate what's happened to the DOJ. They're using the DOJ to try and win an election that shouldn't be won, because the man's incompetent, he's corrupt, and now I can say things that normally, out of respect for the presidency, I would never have said things like I can say now, because they've broken the veil. And when you break the veil, I'm allowed to do what I have to do. And he's the most corrupt president we've ever had. He's the most dishonest. He's the most incompetent. He can't put together two sentences. And they tell us, oh, he's our president. The guy can't put together two sentences. And he's really potentially leading us into nuclear war. He said the other day that we have no ammunition. We're a country with no ammunition. Number one, that shouldn't have happened. Number two, how do you say a thing like that? China's just licking their chops when they hear that. No, we're being led by a corrupt and incompetent man, and it shouldn't happen.
Yeah. As Mr. President, always a pleasure. Thank you so much. I know the nation's praying for you. Thank you. Thank you. All right, we'll get back to the program here in just a few minutes, but I want to take time to talk about our friends over at the Birch Gold Group. Now, we're up against another government shutdown, and how they usually deal with it is spend, spend, spend. Now, while our government is giving each other high fives, your savings and investments are losing value due to the weakening dollar. Now, we can end this cycle and diversify right now into gold. And our friends at the Birch Gold Group want you to take that first step and invest